Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to another walkthrough. Now in this video, I'm going to show you how I installed this performance intake from Dinan. Now, my goal is to make this video part one of a three-part series of performance upgrades that I'm going to do to my 2017 Mini Countryman. Part one will be the performance intake that you see installed here now. In the second video, I will be installing a performance exhaust from NM Engineering, and then in the final video I'll be doing an ECU Flash Tune to take advantage of these performance upgrades. Now there's going to be some time in between the three videos as I haven't quite gotten the exhaust just yet, but once I do, I'll have the walkthrough videos for those upgrades here on the page. So make sure you subscribe, and I'll also be doing other projects in the meantime as I find other fun things to further customize my F60. But now, let me go ahead and take you back to how I installed this Dinan performance intake here on the car. So as you can see here on the video, there are not a lot of pieces involved with this install. In fact, just visually looking at it and looking at the directions that were provided, it looks as simple as removing this piece of the air intake housing, installing this new one along with the new air filter, and the new bracket here, and there's some additional parts right here. It doesn't look like it's going to be a difficult install. That said, let's dive into it. Step one is to loosen the hose clamp, so we can get that loose so that way you can remove it from the main part of the assembly here. Again, we'll make sure that that clamp is nice and loose. Also going to remove this grommet here on the side. Just take that off, remove that out of the way, put that to the side. And then we're going to remove the air mass meter here on the side, two T20 Torx screws. So that's nice and loose. I'm going to swap out my Torx bit for a T25 to remove the top of the air housing assembly. That looks to be the ticket, and that is in case the ticket. Alright, so I'm going to remove this out of the way. I'm going to slide this off, and while I do that, I'll also want to go ahead and get this hose loose, and very carefully, just take my time, pull that off. So now the next step is to assemble the filter top here. It comes with the neck right here, which you mount into via the screws that they provide, and just you want to make sure that the orientation of the mass sensor, air mass sensor here, is correct, which is going to be just like that. So we're going to go ahead and throw the screws on that and get that ready. Okay, that's 4 screws there mounted on the new top. And so now we move on to the next step, which is going to be mounting the air filter on the inside. So what's unique about this air filter in relation to installing it is it's got an offset here. As you can see, the actual neck here is a little offset toward one side than the other, which makes it easy to make sure that you're installing it the way that they want you to. And so you really can install it a wrong way here. That offset's going to be facing down, it looks like, from this angle right here. So what you do is you get it in there and you snap it into place. And what I'm going to do before I do that is make sure I rotate this first so I can go ahead and tighten it once it's in place. All right, there we go. So it did align the way that I would mentioned, where that offset, that large piece of it's going to be facing toward the bottom here, and they say in the directions it snaps into place, and it really does. I just had to kind of press this collar here against my body and just kind of snap this in place, and now I'll just go ahead and use the flathead here, screwdriver, get that rotated, tighten that up, move on to the next step. Okay, so I have the clamp nice and snug on here now, so that air filter isn't going anywhere. I'm going to move this out of the way to get down to the second to last step, which is installing the gasket. Installing the gasket on the bottom of the original air box. And so what we do here is just run it on each end, and we're going to cut it to fit. And so we'll take it right here to the very edge right there, and then we'll snip it, make sure that we have enough pair of scissors. There we go. Okay, so nice and good fit there, and just repeat for all 4 sides. Alright, installing the last bit here now, making sure not to cut my fingers or anything important here. Solid. So now the last step is to remove the T25 Torx screws from the original housing top. And to do that, as you can see, by default they're really, they're mounted in there good. So what you're going to do is just kind of hold them up as you unscrew them. You want to kind of press up against them somehow with your fingers, and just that way, as you unscrew it, it will come out. You're going to reuse these screws for the new top. Last step is to assemble the new top. So again, what we're going to do here is careful with the center. I'll put these screws to the side so I can mount the sensor here. And just very carefully, not forcing anything, mount that on there, and mount the new top into position, lining up the screw holes. That's the easiest way to do it. Make sure everything's lined up good. Just kind of place in the sensor for now, and we'll get the screws in there in just a minute. But since I have the T25 already mounted, we'll go ahead and mount those first. And with those final screws, the installation is complete. And I've got to tell you, as you can see, it looks great. And as you're going to find out here in just a moment, it sounds great too. But here's the thing. If you're not looking for like a full-time, racy, high-performance sound out of your car, say sometimes you just want to cruise down the highway, long road trip, or you just want to go through town and you don't want all that extra sound, hey, no worries. The great thing that I found out about this intake upgrade is the sound is really only prominent when you have it in sport mode. You can hear it, like slightly in like mid mode, but really not so much at all in green mode, which allows you to keep this, as a daily driver or for those things I talked about or whatever it may be. For example, this car is my daily driver, so it's nice, from day to day to have it in mid mode and it not sound like Speed Racer. But when I want to get after it, I want that performance sound. I can flip it to sport mode, and this thing really sounds the part. So that's pretty much it for this video. If you liked what you saw, please leave a thumbs up, subscribe. Again, more projects on the way. This is part 1 of a 3-part series. More to come on that. And I'm always looking forward to your comments and feedback about these videos. So now, I'll leave you guys with some sounds of the new intake. Thanks for tuning in.